Good morning, good evening, and good day to everybody out there in the verse. Um, Today's video is, as you can see from the thumbnail, um, a little bit of a departure from our normal content, but this is something that I feel I'd like to weigh in on. And since it's kind of a global thing, not just an us thing or a them thing, uh, you know, I want to just put my 2 cents in there. Um, uh, I've been following this uh, phenomenon, I guess you could call it, since man my earliest memories. I remember being a young boy having a conversation with my grandfather. This is maybe man back in the mid '80s, and I remember him telling me during a conversation about something strange we had witnessed out in the desert of Arizona on a trip. And he told me, he says, you know, you'll probably in your lifetime know for sure whether or not we're not alone in the universe. And he went on to tell me, some of the things that he's seen in his day. I mean, uh, he was a military man, and he was army, and he sees some strange things in his day. But he was like, we never really know for sure. They tell us what they're going to tell us, and they show us what they're going to show us, and they're just going to do what they do and say what they say, and the rest of us be damned because we're not important enough to tell. However, though, he did tell me, he says, look, you know, you're young enough to know uh there's going to come a time when there won't be a question anymore. It'll be a matter of public knowledge. I mean, I won't be around for it. He tells me, he says, you'll know for sure whether or not we're alone in the universe. They'll have, ships, or who knows, maybe they'll actually come down and sit down and go on TV and announce it to the world themselves. He was just making his predictions. But the reason I bring this up is, you know, we don't necessarily have uh, some off-worlder, or even, a fellow Terran coming to the podium, or the soapbox, as it were, and announcing uh, his his existence to the world. But I guess you could say we kind of have the next best thing with this this congressional hearing we got going on with David Grush and uh, Dave Fravor, and um, the uh, the other pilot name escapes me just now. But um, they do make some interesting points. I mean, in the last congressional hearing that I seen, which was I guess now it'd be probably maybe a few months ago. Um, their only responses to questions regarding everything from the Wilson memo to you know Roswell was either we don't know or it's classified. And although in this most recent congressional hearing, um, the its classified response was it was used, but I would say, in my opinion, though, it wasn't bandied about like it was in the last one. This is not necessarily giving us new information per se. Um, it really kind of gave me a sense of confirmation of stuff that we already kind of suspected. I mean, excuse me. David Grush's testimony under oath, which is kind of cool. That's a new thing. Although to sidebar here, just because he's under oath doesn't mean he's full of shit, or doesn't mean that he's not full of shit. I mean, all of us out there that are old enough to know the whole Ollie North thing, right there, man. He took a fall for, the powers that be, I guess. So lying under oath is not something that's unheard of. I mean, he could be playing a role. He's in the intelligence game, so that kind of brings me to people like Richard Doty, who was in the intelligence game, and Doty did some pretty messed up stuff. I mean, he drove one guy crazy out there in was it New Mexico, and all of a sudden he wants to flip the script and then bat for the other team, as it were. And he's known for being a disinformation agent, actor, whatever you want to call it. But here's the thing about a good story, though. I mean, you gotta give a little bit to kind of cover up, the bigger picture, obscuring the story a little bit, So even from Doty's own words, he says that not everything that he said was bullshit. I mean, there's some truth to be told. Now, when you go back and kind of look over all the stuff that we see from like Nick Pope and David Grush, David Fravor, Jeremy Corbell, Lou Elizondo, man, the list the list is exhaustive from all of these people, and there's definitely a narrative going on here. I see kind of two different narratives. One of the things that I kind of see is definitely the obfuscation game. They're definitely trying to mislead you in one direction, but at the same time it's kind of like they kind of gotta give you a little bit of something to bite onto so that you can run with your own narrative and make up your own shit. I mean, even in here, I'll share a video here, and you can see I've seen my own stuff, and I've seen my fair share of unexplained shit. But it's like I don't know how really to frame it. I mean, look, I'm your average dude, okay? I'm not a scientist. I'm not a degree holder of any kind past slinging some grease. But I'm not your everyday fool either. I know when I'm being bullshitted, because if you're looking at a picture and your gut tells you one thing and your ears tell you another, I mean, ordinarily, what are you really going to go with? I mean, you can kind of go with what you're hearing if it makes sense, but me generally, I try to go with my gut, and then whatever I'm hearing, I kind of gauge that against what my gut is telling me, and usually I come out with something that makes a fair amount of sense. I mean, nobody's 100% at any of this shit, but I like to keep the odds in my favor as far as what I think is legit and what I think is bullshit. And the testimony given by um, these three gentlemen and people like Lou Elizondo and Bob Lazar, um, even Richard Doty and some of their contemporaries. There's definitely a thread of truth there, and pairing that with some of the things that I've seen and some of the things that I've read and heard about, with my own ears and seen with my own eyes, not just the media coming up through the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s to present day. There's definitely something to it. My assertion is this. One of the things I remember watching, what's his name, the doctor Greer, Stephen Greer. One of the things that one of his people have said relating to Werner von Braun, his assistant, was telling. She had made mention that he told her before his death was the impending false flag of the alien invasion. Now, looking at the way things have been kind of unfolding, I kind of see that as a possibility. I mean, it's not out of the realm of logic to think that if the powers that be who are holding this tech and these people that come to us from off world or from another type of existence, if they got that stuff and they want to finally bring it out to the open, because honestly, let's face it, dude, we ain't got nobody to fight. There's nobody else that can hold a stick to us. We're the guy. We're the ones. We got the stick, man, and nobody can take it from us. So in order for the military industrial complex, as it were, wants to continue their war machine and advance themselves into ludicrousness of funds and nifty gadgets, they gotta have something to push that agenda. And if you ain't got nobody else to fight, how you gonna get money for more defense and more guns and more ammo and all this other kinds of stuff? You need an adversary, and that was one of the things that Werner von Braun had made mention to his assistant there before his death. And I kind of see that as a logical line of thinking. If these guys want to continue what they're doing, they gotta up the ante. And an alien invasion kind of thing is that's the next logical step. I mean, honestly, who were we fighting when we first got here? We're fighting the natives, and then we were fighting each other, and then we were fighting people back home, as it were, and then we were fighting people, their neighbors, and then we just kept on going and going and going, and now we find ourselves where we are. There's nobody else to fight. So we gotta stretch out, and the most logical place to stretch out is into space. And even though that sounds maybe a bit trite or maybe a little bit ludicrous. It's like, okay, who the hell are we gonna find out there? Well, hey, look, nothing in this universe happens by itself. Meaning, like, you've heard that adage, nobody is an island. Well, the existence isn't an island. Nothing is truly unique. I mean, just look at the solar system as a perfect example. Look at atoms. Look at anything in the universe, man. Nothing is like unique. Nothing. Even life in itself isn't unique. We're not the only ones here. We got dogs and cats and mice and roaches. You know, it's just everybody wants to say, oh, well, it's ludicrous to think that we're alone in the universe. Now, of course, we're not alone in the universe, man. You would be stupid not to think so. Um, and yeah, that might sound mean. It might sound crass, but come on, let's be real. If you're walking on a planet, don't you think there's another planet out there somewhere? Even something in our own solar system, and it's, dude, pictures of shit on the moon. There's shit on Mars. If we could really take a good look at what's on Venus, we'll probably find remnants of stuff there that ain't been disintegrated by the sulfuric rain. Um, the moons around Saturn and Jupiter more likely than probably Saturn. You know, planet wide oceans and whatnot. Dude, there's shit out there. Has it come here? Well, yeah. I mean, duh. I mean, if they got the means and the opportunity to go where they want to go, why wouldn't they come here? You look at any of the the History Channel, and this guy right here, uh, uh, the Ancient Aliens dude, or even Graham Hancock. He talks about ancient civilizations and stuff like that, and you get people finding all kinds of weird shit. I mean, look at the Antikythera mechanism. I mean, we're just one iteration in a vast um just sea of life. We're just one example. That's it. So, getting back to, that was kind of a long-winded sidebar there, but getting back to this whole David Grush thing and this false flag thing, I think I kind of see it coming on. Is these guys need to up their ante, like I said, and it looks like that's exactly what's playing out here. I mean, they're gonna keep all the goodies for themselves, and they wanna bring that stuff out. But you know what? It's dude, it's ridiculously disrupted. I mean, even Stephen Greer and some of the stuff that he talks about is this disruptive technology. I mean, big oil isn't really, they're not the only ones that will be affected by this. But here's the thing that I kind of look at, and it's it kind of goes like, how do I put this? It's he says that big oil will be disrupted by 0 point energy. Okay, this is the tech, right? This is the UFO tech. We'll call it UFO tech. Um, so this is what powers all their devices. Any other their mechanical stuff. I mean, who knows? I mean, even the Greys, which are supposedly they're supposed to be biological androids. Okay, something's got to power the body, right? They can't just be on a liquid diet all the time. I'm sure they got something going on, but more like uh machinery to the point, stuff with no moving parts. I mean, it's like big oil is like, holy fuck, dude. They got this fucking battery that be the size of a cell phone that can run your car, and it doesn't have any moving parts. What are we gonna lube up? There's no moving parts. I mean, aside from door hinge grease. You know what I'm saying? It's it's kind of a scary thing, but here's the counter to that. Um, you have you have big oil. They make gas and hydrocarbon shit, oil, plastics, um, everything that we use, you know, fossil fuels for, all this oil shit. And just because you have a floating car that runs on a battery that you don't really ever need to charge, you know, for lack of a better term, um, it doesn't mean that big oil is going to go completely out of business. There are hinges everywhere, you know, even even with fucking some Star Trek sliding door shit. You gotta grease the door on the fucking frame. You know what I'm saying? So, granted, it probably won't go into complete extinction, but it'll be severely reduced. I'll give it that. But here's the thing. I mean, you're like, okay, free energy. Well, what's free about it? They regulate everything. If you're gonna regulate the electricity that we generate from solar power, hydro hydropower, geothermal power, good old fashioned diesel, coal, what have you, nuclear, right? And that shit is regulated to the nth degree. Now, can you go down to the local fucking tar pit, pull out a chunk of tar and burn that shit for fuel? Sure you can. Does it cost you anything? Nope. Don't cost you nothing. Can you go and get a piece of coal and burn that for heat and cook your fucking flapjacks and biscuits and gravy over that shit? Yep, sure can. Does it cost you anything? Nope, sure don't. You can find coal. You can find coal off the side of the mountain. You can find coal at the train yard for sure. You can find coal there. When I was younger, man, I bring home tons of coal, just raw shit, and play with it because it was cool, right? And what guy wasn't kind of a firebug when they were young? So here's the thing: can you make a 0 point device in your garage? Absolutely, you can. You need some smarts to do it, but here's the thing. Here's the clincher. All right, they bring the tech out. Tell everybody, hey, check out this new fucking gizmo we got. You put it in your car, it'll run your car forever. And here's a solar panel, and all you got to do is roll it out into the sunlight and give it a couple of minutes, and boom, there you go. You're off to the fucking races. But wait, something that I have never once heard mentioned is this. Look, in today's world, you want to get a car. Sure. Okay. What do you got to do with the car once you get it? You can't just, throw a key in it and put some gas in it and go off on your way and not have to worry about anything else further than that. Oh, no. You got to register it. That costs money. That goes to somebody. You got to insure it. And even though insurance is the mother of all scams, it's law. You got to insure your shit, man. You got to do it. So, okay, you want to buy a fucking floating car. You want to buy the flying car. All right. So, your insurance is going to go up. Guess who that money is probably going to go to? Big oil, because they're not stupid. And you want to own your car, right? You own your floating car. Okay, that's fine. But guess what? Now you got to pay taxes on the 0 point device that's sitting in there powering it. And guess who's going to go? Guess whose pocket that money's going to go into? That's right, big oil, because they're not stupid. So they're going to go where the fucking money's at. I mean, that's just, I don't know. That's just kind of how our world works. Is it how the off-worlders world works? Who the hell knows? I mean, who knows what kind of economy they have, if they even have an economy. I mean, they could be like, planet is, Serpo type shit where they're all down for each other and they're ride or die, but they ain't trying to cause no mischief with anybody else. They're just doing their own thing. Or, they could just be out there and be like the fucking Klingons and the Romulans and, fuck, running around causing all kinds of hate and discontent. But there's other shit out there. And we're never ever gonna find out what it is until, we take our collective heads out of our butts and, get some transparency, get some tech going. And like move forward past this fucking antiquated Jurassic Park fucking, dinosaur burning shit. But the thing that I see kind of going on here to kick this off is this whole like false flag thing. And it might just be, just another fucking YouTuber, putting their 2 cents in. Well, I kind of told you I was putting my 2 cents in. This is my 2 cents. And it may make sense to you. It may not make sense to you. But you know what? Keeping all this shit hidden for the last 100 years, that don't make no sense to me. So, there it is. But I can kind of see this stuff kicking off pretty quick. I mean, maybe in the next couple of years. But who knows? I mean, these people that are pushing for disclosure, and even that new law that they got kind of going through Congress now, and it's going through its paces. It's called the disclosure law. It's man, right? The people that are holding all the cards, as it were, they might get. I mean, you push a person into a corner, so far before they decide to lash out. I mean, they're going to come to that fight or flight thing. And I don't think the powers that be that have all this tech and stuff are getting ready to, fly away. So, is it out of the realm of possibility to believe that they're only going to be pushed so far? They're all going to have so much pressure put upon them before they're just like, okay, look, fuck this shit, dude. They want to know what's really going on. Well, let's do it on our terms instead of us trying to do that shit on the terms that we're setting. They're going to be like, okay, look, fuck it. Let's just do this shit. Let's blow this bitch wide open. And there's your false flag. All of a sudden, you got War of the Worlds type shit going on in fucking big cities and stuff. Or fucking, some fucking Independence Day stuff going on. And there you go. Now and they're going to be like, well, you know what? Now the ball's in their corner. And they're calling the shots. Because guess what? They're the ones with all the freaking, bombs and all the fucking lasers and scalar devices and things of that kind of nature. And guess what? They're the ones fucking doing it to themselves. So they're like, okay, look at this show that we're putting on. And even though in the back of our heads we're gonna know that they're full of shit, because it's like, okay, what's the spectacle for? But all the freaking lemmings and shit out there, they're gonna just, they're going to be all with it. They're going to be like, oh my God, it's the aliens and they're coming to do this and that and the other thing. But, here's a news flash, and this is not news, right? Yeah. Oh, excuse me. They're here. They've been here. They've been here in multiple iterations. That's more or less established. We get that. They've been here. They ain't going nowhere. I mean, honestly, if they really, really wanted to do anything, they'd have done it. And I suspect, and this is just my own speculation here, I'm sure they've done it before. They've come down and they've like they've tried to do whatever it is that they're going to do. They're like, okay, look, this is what we need. This is what you're going to do. And, well, there's really nothing you can do to stop us. And either you're going to do what we want you to do, or we're just going to wipe you out. And guess what? There's evidence of that shit happening. It's it's kind of funny. It's like, okay, are they hostile? Well, no. Why do they need to be hostile? What kind of a threat do we pose to them? None. Absolutely none. None. Not even close to it. How much of a threat is a single ant to a boot? You know what I'm saying? To quote Nick Fury. And it's laughable to think that all of our technology, all of our smarts, we're still stuck with hubris. And we think we're so damn special because we're the only ones that can think straight. Well, guess what? That's not the case. Now, if we want to talk about the off-worlders or the ultra-worlders, let's just look. One of the things that I kind of like, how do I put this? Okay, here's an example to kind of kick off my line of thinking, so you can kind of follow where I'm going here. All right, so we go to the Amazon, right? Now we know that there's people in the Amazon that got no idea that the rest of this world exists. They do their own thing. They be them. They be their own selves, right? Yeah, I know that sounded funny too. They do what they do. They don't give a fuck what goes on beyond what they can see, beyond their own boundaries. Whether it's their village or their hunting ground or wherever it is that they gather what they gather to do what they do, right? So that's them. From our perspective to them, we know that they're there. They don't know that we're here. All right. They don't know that we're there. If we're there looking at them, right? Odds are they're probably unaware. Completely in the dark, as it were, deep in the jungle. Now, reverse that. If we're them, do we know that the rest of the world exists? No. Do we really care? Not really. Are we wandering out of the jungle beyond our territory to go find out? Probably not. Maybe like one or two, We'll give them the benefit there. But do they see our tech? Absolutely. They probably see it all the time. They see fucking 737s flying, over their jungle. They hear helicopters. I'm sure that at some point in time, one of them or a bunch of them may run across some dude on a fucking quad running around with his fucking, Indiana Jones khakis trying to find some lost shit. And are they hostile? Sometimes. Are they, benevolent? Sometimes they're that too. Do we really know when we get to that situation what we're going to find when we get there? Probably not. And I know it sounds silly. You think about it, you're like, okay, now take that whole line of logic, and apply it to us on a galactic scale. We're the guys in the jungle, right? We're them dudes. And the rest of the galaxy, the rest of the universe, know we're here. And do they come and fuck with us? Maybe once or twice. Maybe a little bit. Do we see their tech? Oh, absolutely. I mean, hey, I got pictures. I got video. Right? I got a video of their tech. I've seen their ships with my own eyes. There's a globe full of people. Granted, it's by comparison to what 8 billion people sitting on the planet as we speak. Well, 8 billion humans as that is. Who knows how many other people live here with us that, we don't really know about. We'll give them even the benefit of the doubt and say there's a billion other people here that are not human living with us on the planet. Now whether or not those other billion people got tech that we don't know about, I mean, hey, they probably do. It wouldn't surprise me a bit to see that there's a breakaway civilization living on the planet somewhere. But here's the thing. Just because our boundaries are just around this planet, just around our solar system, as it were, just because that's it, don't mean that there ain't shit out there that knows we're here. There ain't shit out there that has been here to check us out, to see what we're up to, see what we're doing. I mean, let's just hope that they ain't gonna try and fucking build a, intergalactic superhighway through our neighborhood, because that would really suck. And have they done that before? Hey, they might have done it already. And that's why we got a breakout civilization sitting on a planet hiding under the water with their super duper top secret tech, or in Antarctica, or fuck, dude, they might even be hanging out in Alaska, or upper Canada. Who the hell knows? Maybe Santa Claus really does live in the fucking North Pole, and he's just an alien. I mean, think about it, right? You can't really say no. You can't really say yes. All you can say is, yeah, maybe. I mean, if you're just being honest, you can say, hey, Santa Claus is an extraterrestrial because he can do time travel, and damn it, we can't. That makes about as much sense as fucking the Loch Ness monster, Or, hey, the government's got crashed UFOs from Roswell. I mean, damn. So we get back to the false flag thing. So now they got all this tech out there. They got all of us running scared because the UFOs are coming to get us, and it's them driving, right? How likely is it for our own people, and by that I mean, humans, to go against themselves to get this tech out? I mean, what kind of illusions and delusions do you have to fill your own head with before you can convince somebody, to do some craziness like this? Well, here's a news flash. Well, they've been doing it, because if they've got it, they got people on it working that shit out, how it works, and they have got to have come some distance from the times of, Roswell, and even back in the 30s and the 1800s and shit, when people really started reintroducing themselves to the fact of, hey, yeah, it's a flying saucer, check it out. How does it work again? So here we are in this new kind of age, man. It's kind of exciting. It's a little bit scary. I mean, it's not really scary in the sense that it's like, I really don't feel like it's a War of the Worlds kind of scenario. I mean, if logic could carry this line of thinking here, right? If my logic is good, I'm thinking that all the shit that we're doing to ourselves is understood and monitored by off-worlders, by other Terrans, and they're like, okay, yeah, so they want to blow each other up. Okay, fine, that's cool. The nuclear weapons thing, okay, we get what that does to the universe. We really can't be having fucking nukes going off and shit like that. And you know, there's evidence of that stuff happening here, you know, thousands of years ago. You know, that stuff just doesn't go away. I mean, the evidence is there. They can go and see it. They can go and you know, read its signatures. So the whole nuclear thing, you know, it's not a new game. You know, it's just, you know, as my homeboy used to say, we ain't got no new jokes, just new jokers, and we're just the new jokers on the block, right? Ain't nothing we're doing is new. Maybe just new to us, but these guys that are watching us and those people that are here that live with us that we really don't get to see all that much because you know what, they really just don't want to be seen by us. They don't, apparently they don't like us. They don't care what we're doing, but they're not going to stop us really much either. You know, hell, they didn't even stop any nukes. Well, I can't really say that because there's evidence of them tampering with nukes out in the field. So they're gonna tell us, look, y'all do what you do, as long as it's like conventional shit. You know, you want to blow each other up, you want to mass murder, you know, you want to genocide, all that. Okay, you're cool, dude. Yeah, you do you, dude. That's their message. Their unwillingness to um intervene in those matters is very it's very prime directive esque, if you follow my meaning. It's not a stretch that they have that kind of logic. I mean, it's sound logic. It's like, look, dude, don't get involved in their politics. You let them do what they're doing. If they do other shit and come out their lane, then we'll talk about it, or you know, get on them and stop them from doing that shit because it's fucking up our program. Now, here's the thing: we're getting to that point where it's coming to a head. Something's gonna give. Well, how many mass extinctions have we had on this planet that we know about? 5, 6. I think it's 5. I think the official count is 5. 5 mass extinctions. Now, the whole Chicxulub thing, look, there's no way. It's a fantasy to think that we have any kind of tech, even like future tech that can move an asteroid of that size. But we're not them. Now, they might have that kind. If they got gravity tech, it's not a stretch to think that they could, you know, possibly move a planet or, you know, something as big as a moon. Wink, wink. If things got like, you know, too out of hand and they're like, you know, the people that are living there came to the point where, okay, they're getting a little bit out of hand. We need to reset the bar here. Hey, you know, go grab that asteroid out there and just, you know, throw it at them real quick, and you know, clean a slate, as it were. And if they got tech that fiddles with gravity, well, if you can mess with gravity, dude, you can mess with time. And you know what? Time dilation is a thing. It's dude, it's really not going to cost them if they're stable as a civilization. Dude, they could be like, okay, y'all, just look. We need to make sure shit goes down. And if they can, we already know we can go forward. All I gotta do is just make a quick light speed trip to fucking, you know, Proxima, the Proxima system, and come back. Boom, easy, not bad, right? They can bypass all that. They just wait it out. Look, they don't have to have a big civilization. The fact that they have a civilization is enough. And if they're wanting to fucking, you know, groom us for something a bit bigger, well, that kind of explains shit. You get out of hand, we're going to throw an asteroid at you. Well, you know, if you get out of hand, we'll flood your planet. You know, that maybe they were a little bit rash with the asteroid thing. And yeah, it's just kind of theory crafting, but, you know, it makes for a good headcanon. You know, so what's next? So now we got our government gearing up for this false flag thing that, man, I see it coming, dude. I see it. It's kind of crazy, but it makes sense that that's what they would do. Make it a threat. If they were a threat, man, they'd have done something a long time ago. They've done shit long time ago. They've done shit already. We ain't a threat. We ain't a threat to nobody. So why would they come and do anything to us? You know, it's our own people. Our own people are gonna do this shit, and you'll see it. I mean, if it happens, it'll be fucking, dude. It'll be so obvious. Just like, just like, what's his name? Stephen Greer, man. He says, "Oh, you can tell ours from theirs. Ours got rivets." Well, uh, oh, excuse me. I gotta say, man, it makes a little bit of sense. It does carry a little bit of logic, but this is uh, this is a crazy time to be alive, man. I'm kind of like, I'm of two minds about it. I mean, when I was younger, I used to think, how much easier it would be. Well, maybe not easier, but less complicated. Let's just say less complicated to be if, you lived further back in the past, which is because, yeah, man, if I only knew then what I know now. I'm more educated than I used to be. When I was younger, I thought I knew everything. But, when you're young, that's the kind of idiot you are. I don't think any of us are really immune to that particular type of puberty. Um, would it have been less complicated to live in the past? No, not really. It's a lot more complicated. I give it to our ancestors, man. Them fools, dude. They had some power, man. Man, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. Excuse me, if it wasn't for them, which is kind of obvious. But at the same time, right now, it's kind of an awesome time to be in the world, be in the universe. Living in the verse at this time is interesting because those of us who are my contemporaries, you know, us ex-geners, um, we we get to see something awesome come about, even if it turns out to be a freaking disaster. You know, it's a historical kind of thing. Nothing like this has ever really been in the world. Oh, let me rephrase that. Nothing like this has ever been in our world. Our world. You know what I'm saying? Um, in other iterations of civilization, did they know about the off-worlders and the breakouts? Probably, to some degree, I would imagine. You know, is it a case where, like, I don't know if you remember the episode, the final episode of the Orville, when Commander Grayson takes the the girl into the holodeck, into their holodeck, and shows her how their first contact kind of went, and they gave the tech to the people who weren't ready for it, and they ended up, blowing themselves up into like nothingness. You know, has that scenario played itself out in our distant past? I would imagine that might be why we only see them nowadays and they don't really like fuck with us. Dropping the occasional freaking crop circle here or there, or showing our ancestors, possibly our ancestors, some cool math tricks and neat pictures in the sky. They more or less don't give us any tech, but I mean, let's be honest, dude. If you crash your shit and don't come get it by act of inaction, you're still giving us tech. But I think the kind of the clincher here is they're not showing us explicitly how to reproduce it. They're gonna like, okay, we'll give you that, but you got to figure out how to build that shit on your own. You know, If you figure out how to fly it, cool. Whatever, dude. You got a new toy. It's a fucking it's a fucking what is it? What is it my homie used to say? It's your fucking your bailiwick, man. It's what you do. It's your thing, man. That's what you got going. You want to do that shit, do that shit. But you want to fucking make it for yourself, you figure it out. Did they have to figure it out for themselves? Probably. You know, or maybe they came to a point in their own society, in their own iteration of their life. They came to a point where, whoever was more advanced than them, whoever started this shit, gave them their tech and showed them how to use it because they were fucking, you know, for lack of a better term, responsible adults. So, you kind of got that to look at. I mean, honestly, you're not gonna let your 6-year-old drive your car. You know what I'm saying? Or change your oil. It's just you might you might have them there while you're doing it, but are they really gonna understand all the ins and outs of what you're doing? Okay, you put the key in the hole and you turn it, and guess what? You go. You pull the fucking screw out of the bottom of the fucking motor, and all the oil comes out, and now you can't drive your car. Simple shit, dude. Simple shit. You can kind of tell them the mechanics of the stuff, but do they really truly understand how to fucking do this shit? Hell no. So that same kind of logic goes for us. Can you fly the freaking, can you fly the flying saucer? Well, I'm sure you can figure it out. Can you build one? Not even the ashtray. Right? Not even close, dude. You can't even make the door open, man, without help. So that's where we are. Now, if the powers that be figured all this shit out up to a point to be like, okay, yeah, we solved anti-gravity shit. Okay, we got floating stuff. We can do scalar weapons now. Yeah, we can blow them out the sky if we want to. Even when they're out past Jupiter, dude, we can target their shit. We can track it, and if we want to blow them up, we can do that too. Are they retaliating? Not yet. Not yet. But if we think about it and we use some logic, if the beings that are in the ships that we see, right, that we bring down, if they're tools, like a mechanical drone that we send out over, our adversaries or whatnot, would we be concerned that they brought it down? Maybe passingly. Do we want them to have the tech? Well, probably really not. Unless it's like, super, super secret scroll shit. Are we going to go out there and get it? Probably not. I mean, can you kind of see the logic here, the line of thinking? I mean, they're aliens. They're not like, there really isn't kind of a comparison to that kind of thinking, though. I mean, it's just not like, but you kind of get the gist of it, man. They're fucking, dude, even though they're aliens, dude, they still got brains, man. They still think, right? And if there's people out there that have this kind of tech, there's people out there that have our kind of tech. Are they still planet bound? Have they advanced enough, just enough, to get off the planet and do some interstellar shit? Dude, I mean, come on, man. The Robinsons did it. Dude, there's got to be some people out there that really, like, dude, they're maybe like 50 years ahead of us. Hell, dude, even if you like take the whole Stephen Greer thing with the 100 years of tech that we've lost out on, right? So even though we're 100 years behind where we're supposed to be, right? There's another world out there. I'm pretty sure there's probably a lot, but let's just say there's another world out there that's got tech equivalent to what we should have now. So they would be on par with where we should be. Would they be able to get off the planet? Absolutely. Absolutely, they'd be able to get off the planet, get out of their solar system, out of their arm of the galactic fucking neighborhood, dude. Right? Absolutely. What are the odds that some of these civilizations that happen upon our you know little blue planet out in the outer reaches of our galaxy in the fucking suburbs? You know, it's not unthinkable that somebody that might even look like us to a certain degree would find us and only be like 30, 40 years ahead of where we're supposed to be. They don't have to be 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years more advanced, dude. They could be fucking advanced tomorrow. Advanced. They're a week more advanced than we are, and here they are on our doorstep saying, "Man, why ain't you guys out in the fucking galaxy, dude? What's up with your bombs and your fucking, what's with all this fucking bullshit you got going, blowing each other up? You know, what's with all your fucking stupidity? We're past that. We've been past that kind of shit. Well, let's think about that. Have there been situations like that before? Maybe. Um, would somebody have talked about that? Well, there is this one guy. Um, I can't even remember his name. Hmm. I used to know all these dudes' names off the top of my head, man. Just, psh. But hey, look, and I'm not getting any younger. But here's the thing: have there been peaceful interactions between humans and aliens? Absolutely. Have there been like hostile things? Well, that remains to be seen. I mean, alien abductions and people being killed by off-worlders, you know, alien abductions, you know what? Who knows? Most of the abduction stories that I've seen over the years, they're all about the grays, man, all about the grays. You know, I would say probably 95% to like 97% of all the stories that I've heard about alien abductions is always the grays that are doing this shit, man. And I don't know, some recent things that I've seen talking about the grays as a biological entity. It's very suggestive that they're constructed, man. They don't have they don't have reproductive systems. They're not built for fucking they're not built for doing stuff like we do stuff. They're built for doing shit that they're programmed to build, right? Build, programmed to do. You know what I mean? It's they want to go do target acquisitions and collections and shit like that. Well, hey, build that shit, program it, and send it on its way. If it gets caught, crashes, or otherwise, then you know what? Hey, let the humans do what they're gonna do. What they're gonna do, right? They're not gonna figure it out in time for them to do anything to fuck with what we're doing. So be that as it may, let it just be. So they do what they do. Now, is it us building this shit? I don't really think so. I mean, we might have been able to like repurpose some of this shit or build it to what we want. I mean, we are pretty clever, but clever doesn't really entail smarts. You know what I'm saying? You can be clever and be dumb as a post. You got no fucking, you know, you got no intelligence to do your clever thing responsibly. You're following me. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's it's one thing to understand that we're not alone in the universe. It's another thing to like think that They got an axe to grind with us on any level, because even a freaking society that's, you know, a day and a couple of hours advanced of us that can get here, they're like, you know what? You're not worth the time, man. What do you got? What do you got for us? If they got the same kind of mindset that we got, what do we got to offer them? Nothing. Nothing. There's nothing here that isn't everywhere else. If you're questioning the fact, is there life in the galaxy? Is there life in the universe? Duh. What are they going to come here for? Gold? You know what? There's gold all over the solar system, dude, and far bigger abundance. You can go to the freaking asteroid belt where a planet broke apart. Hey, go chip away at the core. It's floating right there. We know where the core is at. We know where that shit's at. Can we get to it? No. I mean, we're so fucking greedy. Well, the powers that be are so fucking greedy, they're not going to go get it. Because if they do, guess what? All of a sudden, all their fucking wealth means absolutely nothing. Nothing. Do they want our water? No. Why would they want water, dude? There's a whole planet of water. There's probably more than just a couple, you know. And I'm not talking about just fucking what is it? Enceladus and Europa, you know, or what is it? Enceladus, Europa, Ganymede. Is it Ganymede? No, I think it's Enceladus and Europa are the ones that are covered, that are just big old ice balls with oceans of water. You know, you could drown the planet 2 or 3 times with the amount of water that's between those 2 planets. Do they need water? No. You can collect water in open space. You know, there's fucking oxygen and hydrogen molecules out there for days. I mean, honestly, hydrogen's the most common freaking element in the universe. Do they need water? No, they don't need water. What else? Do they need food? Why do they need to come here to get food? If the universe is teeming with life, why don't they go to their own world? There's probably a dozen other worlds that have, you know, limitless amounts of life. And if they can come up with a way to get off their planet into another solar system, do you think food is really a problem? I'm thinking probably not. What else? As far as resources go, they're not going to use oil. I don't think so. What about radioactive material? Well, there's another duh thing. You know, how much radioactive material is really out there? Dude, how many stars have exploded in the last couple of days around the universe? Dude, there's limitless amounts of resources in the galaxy alone in the galaxy, limitless amounts. So they don't need nothing here. They don't give a fuck about us. The only reason why they would come to see what we're up to is out of sheer raw curiosity. Do they want to be bosom buddies with us? No, they don't. Because if they did, they would have. They'd have been like, hey, yo, check it out. Look, check out my new car. That kind of shit. And that's just going off the premise that they have some semblance of thought processes as we do. Even if it's like totally alien. It's like, dude, logic has got to come from somewhere. If math is the universal language, man, everywhere in the universe, no matter where you go, whether it's here or the edge of the observable universe, or once you get there, the edge of that observable universe, 1 + 1 always equals 2, no matter where you go. So if math is like that, and thinking is basically just binary, it's base. Come on, we're talking about synapses here. You know, it's on or off. That's it. You know, that's what we're working with. It's on or off, right? So in just the normal physical space of reality. And we're not talking about, superposition shit, because once you start getting into like trinary thinking, you're still limited by three, right? So there's only so much diversity in that. It's either on or off, or it's a superposition. It's on, off, or both. And even if it's like neither, man, there's still a finite amount of variables that you got to work with. So thinking, how are you gonna say that you can't think like an alien when they're still using the same kind of material that we're using? Do they have brains? Yes. Do they have sensory organs? Absolutely they do. Do they got fingers, toes, appendages to manipulate shit? Well, duh. Of course they do, or else they wouldn't have built the shit that they got. I mean, even if they were doing this shit with their fucking minds, dude, they still got to put food in their mouth, right? So they're going to have a way to do that. So it's not a complete stretch to think that they kind of think like us. I mean, their society might be a little bit different, but they're still going to think. And you come down to your basic variables. Either it's on, it's off, and that's it. Either it's on or off, both or neither. That's it. Those are our variables to work with. And it only goes so far, man. It can only do so much. And even if it does shit that we really don't understand right now, still, it only does so much. I mean, there's a limit to what it can do. So when we're thinking about this whole David Grush thing, this David Fravor thing, this military thing, this, we got our shit we don't want you to know about thing, you know what? It all doesn't really fucking matter, man, because it's coming. Whether they want to admit it or not, it's coming one way or the other. The more we live, the more advanced we're going to get. Even if they're just trickling this shit out, it doesn't matter that there is a conspiracy. It don't matter if there isn't one. But even if there is, it doesn't matter. Because the more that we live, every day that we move on, the more advanced we're going to get. And you know what? They didn't stop it. They just slowed it down. That's it, man. My, my fucking, man, one of my best friends, man, that was one of the things he loved to say. You can't stop me. You can just slow me down. You can never stop me. And that's right. We as the people, man, we as the human race, man, you can't stop us, man. All you can do is slow us down. It's coming. Whether it's coming quick or slow, it's coming. And this hearing thing with fucking David Grush and David Fravor and this other guy, man, I can't remember his name. I have to look it up. But with these three gentlemen, and what they're doing is definitely courageous, man. I give them props, dude. It takes balls to get up there and do what they're doing. It's just one step, man. One step closer, one step further. We're coming out the gate. We ain't coming out like a bat out of hell, and we may be coming out like a snail, but we're still coming out. And I'm hoping that our pace will pick up. Let's say. I'm hoping that in the coming weeks, months, and years, that our momentum in this endeavor will pick up pace. We got legislation going, the new laws that are designed to facilitate disclosure and transparency. We have people that are willing to go to bat for their ideals in this respect and further the cause that is disclosure. And dude, it's a great time to be living in the verse, man. And I just thought that even though I may have wandered a bit from the point, oh man, because let me tell you, dude, once I get going, I get going. I'm all over the map with this ADD thing, but I try to stick to the point here, and the point is this: we need to keep moving forward in that direction to uh, bringing ourselves into better focus, into what's really going on in our reality, and it's there to be seen. We just have to be open to it, and I would I'd love to see floating cars and uh, transporter technology, fucking, you know, making more bases on the moon, going to Mars. Hell, taking a fucking round trip, fucking grand tour around the solar system, or even to the nearest star system, and check out what's going on there as a freaking tourist, man. That would be the shit. And you know, big oil ain't got to lose out on all of their fucking millions and billions of oil barons. They're resting on their laurels, dude. I mean, granted, it kind of sounds like I'm playing devil's advocate here, but really I'm not batting for that team, but I can see the logic. You ain't got to lose out on any of your fucking money. You just got to find a new way to make it. And let me tell you, once you get the capability to get off the planet and go to the outer reaches of the solar system or even the galaxy, come on, man, space tourism, dude, the funds are limitless, literally astronomical. So why would big oil be threatened by new tech when, dude, even if it's all open source, man, you know, it's, dude, I mean, it baffles me to such a degree. It makes me speechless to even consider the notion that they would be upset by this. It's like, dude, what are you thinking? You got all of this potential. You want power and prestige and whatever, dude. You want all of that fake ass bullshit, dude, that's just temporal. Because let me tell you, you can't take it with you. We're here for what? 100 years? We get a century to do what we want to do, to be who we want to be, to make whatever difference we want to make. If you want to be, you know, a fucking dishwasher and make your mark there, you want to fucking be on the street, you want to be a billionaire, millionaire, you want to be a mogul. It's up to us, man. It's this life is ours to live, and we get 100 years to do it. I mean, we're not guaranteed our 100 years, but we're guaranteed that if things are optimal, yeah, it's 100 years. So it's ours to do with what we want to do. So why not? Why not venture out and do all of that other stuff? Nothing's stopping us. Just us. So, with that being said, ooh, that is that's my 2 cents. That's just my thoughts. I really didn't have anybody else to talk to but you. And if you're here and you really made it this far, man, I've got to pat you on the back, shake your hand, and say thank you very much for sticking around this far and listening to me ramble on about aliens and UFOs and conspiracies and my own headcanon. So I say cheers. And if if you find the other content on this channel interesting, I can't make any promises that I'll do any more commentary like this. This might be just a one shot, but you know what? I appreciate you anyway. And hey, like it, subscribe it, comment on it. Please comment on it, but be cool in the comments. Uh, just you know, you know, don't be a dick. But I definitely look forward to opinions and thoughts and prognostications and whatever else you might want to throw in there, the occasional emoji or whatever. Just let me know. Um, and man, with that, um, the uh, the next the next content, I got a 3 day weekend coming in, so I will definitely be prepared for some further content, and I'll be putting this up soon, soon. So look forward to some more content with our regularly scheduled programming, as it were. So until then, live long and prosper. Stay living in the verse. Be happy, healthy, and safe out there in the world. And if there's anybody else there watching, listening, and wondering, hey, we all just want to get along, man. So until next time, thank you for watching, rather listening, and have a good day. And I'll see you in the next one.